My guest is Blake Harrison. Blake, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, sir.
How's it going?
Very good. Welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me.
I would like you to, if you could, get the listeners up to speed as to a little bit of background on yourself and what you've got going on now.
Well, let's see. I play Noise and Samples and General Just Chaos and Pig Destroyer. And I'm also kind of known as the weirdo that kind of does Hatebeak from here and there.
Yes, you are.
Not really from here. Yeah, when we first started Hatebeak, it was kind of, we didn't want people to know who was in it. And I guess over the years, it's kind of been figured out. Even Pig Destroyer's Wikipedia page references that I do the Hatebeak stuff. Mm-hmm. So we haven't done a lot of that recently. So there may be a full length that comes out before I die.
Oh, good. And how old is the foul member of that band?
Waldo is now, I guess it's probably about 12, okay. Which is pretty young for an African Grey. It was to be about 50 or 60. So he's pretty young.
Is Waldo yours?
No, it's a friend of mine's, actually. Mm-hmm. But he's actually so young, we're not sure if it's a he or a she. Oh.
I don't know anything about the maturation of African Greys.
Honestly, neither do I. So.
How did the idea of Hatebeak come about?
Well, sorry. It just kind of happened as me and a lot of my friends used to play in this power violence band from the Baltimore area called Daybreak, and we used to come up with like kind of joke fake band names. And obviously, the more ridiculous the concept, the better. And I had the idea of a parent singing for a band because they can mimic so well. And you know, what's the difference between Chris Barnes and a parent mimicking? There's not a lot. So when we came up with the name, which is Hatebeak, and the logo kind of fit right in with the Hatebeak logo, it was just, okay, that's cool. And then I was between bands before I was after Daybreak and before I was in Triac. And we kind of went from there and just kind of recorded it. Just kind of spent some time in my buddy's home studio, the other guy from the band. And we did that, and Chris from Reptilian put it out, and it kind of took off, pardon the pun. And that's basically how it happened.
That's, brilliant idea. And then you did a split, Hatebeak did a split with Caninus.
Yep.
The Pitbull fronted.
R.I.P. Basil, who died recently last year, one of the front dogs. Mm-hmm. Let them. Mm-hmm. Well, and that was Chris's brainchild. He was like, why aren't we doing this? And I was like, I don't know. So we, again, Hatebeak never really was intended to be anything real. It was all kind of machismo and us talking trash when we did interviews about how we were raising extreme music to the next level and such and such. And, there's pictures out there that aren't us, and there's, we never really put our names on the records. And then when we kind of started to get a little more attention, we took it a little bit more seriously, like the writing and stuff like that. So we did the split with Caninus, and it was, it's one for the record books, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and it is a great idea. And I think that, there's something about being really creative when you have no intention of making money or anything like that. And, those records are awesome.
Yeah, we had no intention of doing anything with it. When I went to the UK with Pig Destroyer for the first time, a lot of people were interviewing me almost as much as they were interviewing them.
Really?
Yeah. I got a lot of people got in touch with me and was like, hey, you're going with the band. We want to talk to you. And I just kind of took it as a joke and did what I could. I turned down Entertainment Weekly because my idea was no housefrau in Iowa is going to be reading Entertainment Weekly and be like, oh, that's not available to parent for a singer. Great, I'll buy that on.
That's so funny.
So I turned them down, and they actually got pretty snotty back.
Really?
Like, yeah, they were like, we're Entertainment Weekly, dude. I was like, I don't care.
Wow. Well, did you have, like you said, it was a made-up thing, so you didn't have any aspirations about getting into any kind of mainstream media anyway.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So it's a surprise, and you told them no.
Yeah, basically told them to go pound sand, and they were shocked. I guess, every time we comes knocking, you answer.
Oh, well. Well, that's interesting. And what about Pig Destroyer and Entertainment Weekly?
I would love that. That's a little different. We do take that band a little more seriously, although we do like to have fun. Contrary to what most people would probably think about our band. If you read any real interview or see any footage of us doing interviews, we basically just kind of tackle each other. We did Scott and I did an interview for a guitar player in L.A., and we were so drunk and not talking about what they wanted us to talk about that it was completely unusable.
Oh, good.
And the next day they wanted us to do a phone interview. We're like, no, we're sorry. We did last night. We're not doing it.
Well, good. Then I should thank you even more then for being on point so far for at least the first 5 minutes here. And folks, if it goes south, we can just all go to the music, so it's all good. So, what is going on with Pig Destroyer right now?
Recently, we've been taking a lot of time off because we both studio in our practice space, and we had some issues with our previous drummer, which was Brian Harvey, and we got rid of him. So we had Dave Whitty from Municipal Waste, his current Saxophone.
Oh, wow.
That didn't really work out so well. Dave's a great guy and a great friend of ours, but it was a lot of scheduling conflicts and et cetera, which is
he's
expected.
Extremely busy.
And, yes, he is very busy. So we picked up Adam Jarvis from Misery Index, and it's working out great. We're in the process of recording the new record now, which is going to be called Book Burner, and should be out in the fall.
Excellent. And are you still on the Relapse label?
Yep, this is our last record for Relapse. Currently under the current contract, but we're probably going to stay.
Got it. And how did you get brought into the fold of Pig Destroyer? Because I know that you're not an original member, and I guess that you were added, not replacing anybody. Is that true?
Right. I have been with Pig Destroyer for years and years, as far as like a fan and a friend of the band. I've probably seen there may be a handful of shows I've never been to. And we did a tour with Wolf Eyes and White House.
Wow.
Which is kind of out of our genre.
Oh, but that sounds amazing, though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But we did a brief tour, a 3-day tour for Pig Destroyer, a tour. So we kind of were just kind of talking about it in the van, and wanted to add a new member that did like noise and samples and things like that, because the sky's kind of limit. You can kind of take that any direction you want to. So the logical choice in their eyes was me, which I was completely flattered. And I'm not really, aside from being a fan of some sort of like foam marsh noise and some like ambient music, I wouldn't say that I ever was like a practicing musician of that genre before that. But the guys go along with me, and we knew we could work together both artistically and friend-wise. There would be no real conflict as far as personality goes. So they said, do you want to do this? And I was like, of course. And that's kind of how it happened.
So did you, so then in terms of like the gear that you use and where your noises come from, was that sort of like a band suggestion thing, or did you just go shopping?
It is a little of both. It's constantly changing. So you may see me at one show with one rig, and then the next show at another with a completely different setup. Aside from the sampler, which is, mostly like movie quotes and stuff like that I blend in. It's kind of a difficult place to be live because I don't want to step over all the old songs that didn't really have my presence on it.
Right.
So it's very interesting. There's a lot of kids that love me and a lot of kids that hate me. And I could care less. I get to travel the world and play music with my best friends. So.
Damn those kids. That's awesome. Do you find that now, sort of being the noise guy, that you listen to things differently?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there any example that that sort of comes to mind?
When I watch a movie, it's very, like dialogue sticks out in my head a little more. Pacing, cadence, tone, the way things are delivered. In fact, I typically like movies that are acted poorly because of the way the lines are delivered and how that would work out of context.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference, like enunciating a word mid-sentence in a weird way. But yeah, I listen to a lot of things. I'll hear air conditioning droning and be like, wow, how to incorporate that? It's very weak sounding.
Neat.
Record it and kind of, mix it in, or sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's very trial and error for me. And I know that there are a lot of people that are very brilliant that can do that and they know what they want, but I'm not like that.
Mm-hmm. So then your live shows are different for you all the time then?
Yeah, there's a basic set that we do, and it's mostly mapped out. But yes, it does change. And a synthesizer pedal that was built for me, and I intentionally put no markers on any of the knobs. And, if I set it up the wrong way, I don't know how it works. So it kind of makes me, yes. So yes, it's basically the answer. There are differences every time.
Cool. Very cool. So you are here as a guest DJ, and I wanted to get you to start introducing the first set that we're going to go into.
Of course. And we're starting with Los Crudos. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
And so why did you choose Los Crudos?
Basically because a buddy of mine had lost their discography and asked me if I could burn it for him. And it kind of made me come back to Los Crudos and remember how good of an awesome punk band / early power violence band that they were. And I remember when I had my radio show, I said that Los Crudos meant the crude, and I had a Hispanic gentleman call up to correct me and tell me that it meant the hungover. So this is Crudo Soy, which means I'm hungover.
Oh, very interesting. Okie doke. Well, my guest is Blake Harrison of Pig Destroyer. We'll be back in a little bit. Stay tuned.